13 Reasons Why it might be the worst TV show I have ever seen. Honestly, I don't even know how to describe how awful this show is. So there's no better way to start than by talking about Season 1, Episode 1. Now before we start, no, I'm not doing that stupid ass gimmick where I give 13 reasons why I hate 13 reasons why. I'm just going to talk about each and every episode of the first season and things I liked and disliked about it. I mean, these episodes are about the length of a movie, so why not? Okay, so to start off, I'll admit that Season 1 is at the very least entertaining. If the show didn't try to be a PSA and think it was doing a good thing by exposing high school or whatever, then I honestly wouldn't have a problem with it, because, truthfully, Season 1's pretty entertaining. I mean, it's bingeable, if nothing else, and it doesn't make you shout, "What the fuck just happened?" every 10 seconds. So I'll get the general positives of the season out of the way first. The acting is fucking fantastic. Dylan Minnette is honestly not only one of my favorite actors, but probably the best thing about this show. And it pisses me off that he's in such crappy stuff. The supporting actors are also great, and they have great line delivery. And truthfully, everyone just works really well with what they're given. The camera work is pretty spot on. Sound design is great. Music, lighting, I mean, it's all good. This was definitely not like some low budget teen drama flick. There was a lot of production value went into this. And, I mean, rewatching this season after watching season 2 and 3, it's shocking how good this season is compared to those two. And honestly, I think my favorite part about the show is the opening intro. I mean, this thing is just beautiful. I know it's sad to say that the best part of the show is the intro, but it's just so gorgeous. The nice chalk drawings of everything. The music that plays, I just love the intro. I'm not opposed to just having that intro be like my ringtone, because it's honestly just gorgeous. And it's the only thing in all 4 seasons that remains consistent. And I just love it. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, let's talk all sorts of crap on this show. Alright, so to start off, the premise is stupid and one of the worst parts about the show. For those of you who don't know, it details the suicide of a girl named Hannah Baker, and the 13, well, actually there's 14, but we never hear the 14th reason. And it's not as catchy as 13 reasons. 13 reasons why she killed herself. First of all, this is not how depressed people act. I know that each person have different experiences with mental health and suicide and depression and all that. But if someone was at the breaking point, to the point where they would kill themselves, they would definitely not be doing what Hannah did. This is like... the best I can think is like in a superhero movie or something, where the bad guy pretended to kill himself and left all these clues to lead the good guy to the spot that he was going to ambush him. That's the best I can think, because, I mean, Hannah goes through all this work to make these tapes, to try to expose people's evil side, and she kills herself and doesn't see how this plays out. I mean, throughout the entirety of the show, she's cheerful during the tapes for the most part. She makes jokes. I mean, she does not even sound depressed, not even sad. And that's a big issue, because I mean, this sounds like me talking right now. That's how she sounds. And that's not good, because you would never think that Hannah was someone who was depressed and these were reasons why she killed herself. These just sound like me reviewing the show. So each episode is named after the tape that it's based off of. Like tape 1 side A, tape 1 side B. It's not very inspiring, but I guess it works. Compared to every other show, even with other episodes within this show in later seasons, this is just kind of boring. So it's hard to say that you liked a specific episode. Anyway, the first tape, which is what we'll be talking about, is about Hannah and her estranged relationship with high school Chad Justin Foley. He plays football and basketball, and he always wears a Letterman jacket. And now that I think about it, all the sports ball players have Letterman jackets, and they wear them everywhere. I mean, they're supposed to be in California, and it's not like it's cold there. But, whatever. So the plot starts off with the school mourning Hannah's suicide. Clay Jensen, Dylan Minnette, is super depressed and hallucinates in seeing Hannah, but really he's just looking at two girls that take a selfie by Hannah's locker and post it on the gram with the hashtag #NeverForget. Now, this is probably nothing, but this never comes back up. They never mention this hashtag ever again. We never hear anyone else talk about it. I mean, it's probably nothing, but it still bothers me that they made this a point, especially when we come to the later seasons, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, Justin comes up to Clay, comforts him, but then whispers in his ear that he's not as innocent as she says, and then he walks away, Clay naturally being confused. So in his class, Clay's teacher is talking about ways depressed students can get help, and she keeps going off on it before this one kid's like, "Bitch, it's been a week. We need to move on. My parents are paying for this shitty education. You might as well at least teach me something." Okay, that wasn't exactly word for word, but basically he's just tired of hearing about how Hannah killed herself because that's making him depressed, which is fair enough. I understand that. I'd be pretty upset if that was all my teachers were talking about if that happened. I get why they would be, but at that point, what's the point in going to school anymore? Anyway, the teacher agrees too. And then we get another hallucination flashback. And side note, I like these flashbacks. They have a nice kind of composition with the present and the past. In the past, everything's all bright, sunny, cheerful. And then the present, everything's dark and gloomy and sad. It's a really nice parallel, and it really helps differentiate flashbacks from present. So anyway, the teacher is talking to the class about this project in the flashback, and then the bell rings, and Clay looks at Hannah while he's packing up his books. And then he leans over and tells her that he likes her short hairstyle, because she cut it earlier in the year. She smiles, thanks him, takes her bags, and leaves the classroom. Clay snaps out of his hallucination when the teacher's voice draws him back in by calling his name multiple times, because he's just been looking at an empty chair across the classroom. He tells the teacher that he was paying attention, and then leaves the classroom to go get some water or something. And then he sees the counselor walking with Hannah's parents to her locker, and they're looking at all the decorations that the students put on the locker. Kind of this nice little memorial kind of thing. But then they open the locker, and her mom's like, "Wait, why isn't it decorated on the inside? Why isn't there stuff on the inside? Why didn't they decorate the inside? What? Why? Why? Who would decorate the inside of a locker? I get decorating the outside. Okay, that makes sense. But who's going to open up the inside of a locker of someone who's dead at the school and be like, "Oh, look at these pretty decorations"? Who would waste their time with that? I actually don't know what this is trying to show. Is the mom upset about the fact that there's no decoration on the inside? Is this like a coping mechanism? What was the point of this? This is never alluded to at all later, so what's the point? I think I might be thinking too hard about this, but whatever. So the mom looks over at Clay while Clay's looking at her, and then Clay quickly turns around and to avoid looking at her by walking in the opposite direction. I mean, it makes sense. It would be pretty difficult to stare at a mom who lost her only child in the eye just a week after the incident. I mean, I don't blame Clay for walking away and not saying anything. So Clay walks into a bathroom and sees the yearbook kid named Tyler taking pictures of people outside of the bathroom. This is a weird bathroom because it has a window on the inside of it that looks outside, and this kid's just taking pictures of people outside. That's really weird. That's also not going to give you a good picture, but whatever. And then this mega Chad sports baller named Bryce walks in and tells Tyler to fuck off. Wait, what? Who the fuck are you, Bryce? I mean, I know you're a mega Chad sports baller, but it's not like this is your bathroom. So, why would you think that you can tell scrawny little kids to buzz off? And why would they actually listen to you? Like, why does Tyler even listen to him and leave? It's a bathroom. What if Tyler was in the middle of taking a massive poop? Is he just gonna walk out with poop dripping down his butthole onto the floor? Into the hallway? Okay, I'm sorry, that was gross. But whatever, it's set up for later. So at the end of the day, Clay is hugged by this girl named Courtney who says that Hannah's suicide makes no sense, and Clay's like, yeah, okay. So then Clay is picked up by his friend Tony, and Tony plays some rockin' music on his cassette player in his car. And while they're driving away, he asks Clay why he didn't ride his bike, and Clay's just like, I wasn't in the mood. And I'm just like, hell yeah! No wonder I like Clay. We're both bike riders. Hell yeah! Anyway, they drive past a movie theater that Clay and Hannah worked at over the summer. We learned that she worked there before him, even though she just barely moved in and he's been living in the town for forever. I mean, okay. So then she asks him what about the town he likes best, and we get the best dialogue in anything ever. It goes something like this. I don't know. I've lived here my whole life. That's like asking Han Solo, how's space? Wow, you're an actual nerd, aren't you? It's fucking perfect. Like, I love it because it's just so fucking stupid. Because that is not Han Solo's character. Alright, first off, I don't think Han has ever physically been in outer space. He's either in a spaceship or he's on different planets fighting aliens and hooking up with hot women. Okay? And I don't even think that last part's even true. It's not like he's just flying around in the spaceship for forever. He's on planets and doing other stuff. So, the better analogy would have been something like asking Luke Skywalker what Tatooine is like, and he's like, bro, he'd be like, bro, this place fucking sucks. Get me out of here. Oh man, this is the best line of dialogue ever. I wish more movies and shows and games and stuff did this. Alright, so back on topic. Anna thinks that being a nerd is like super hot, and that's that, I guess. She says she's glad he's courageous enough to express being a nerd. I mean, I'm just thinking, what is this? Elementary school? Like, I mean, I can see that being like a quote-unquote brave thing to do in elementary school. Because, you know, kids are ruthless in elementary school. But, I mean, can I get a medal? Can I be appreciated for being a nerd? I like Star Wars. I like Halo. I like Call of Doodles. Can I get that too? I mean, I know plenty of sports ballers who are nerds. Can we get our recognition for being nerds? Okay, so here's a really big issue that I have with this show, and I'm being serious on this. It's trying to invoke high school stereotypes that don't actually exist. This makes sense for shows like Jesse, Liv and Maddie, Adam Sandler movies, you know, stuff you can turn your brain off and still find enjoyment in. Not stuff that are intentionally bad. This does not make any sense in the story because it's trying to be serious and relate to high school students today. Like, I mean, it's basically boiled down to this kind of the T. The sports ball athletes fuck bitches like cheerleaders and other hot girls, while nerds have nerd posters like E equals MC squared in their bedrooms. Sports ballers are chads with chiseled jawlines, great abs, rock hard ass, flexible nipples,
You get the
massive
point.
biceps,
It's stupid.
and just
Where was I? Oh yeah,
all
that's
around
right.
massive.
So Clay goes home and there's a
15-inch
package
long
for him,
cock.
and it's full of cassette tapes. So he borrows his dad's boombox by asking him where his radio thingy is. I mean, I guess that's realistic. How many teenagers now know what a cassette tape is? So he plays tape 1 and hears Hannah talking. He's like, holy shit. I mean, that's probably a reasonable reaction. I mean, what would be the odds that a teenager of your generation is speaking to you via cassette tape off a boombox? Anyway, his mom does mom stuff and walks in on him without knocking on his door, and he freaks out and breaks the eject button on the boombox, which is just convenient so he can get the tape out. And he rides his bike over to Tony's house. He wants to ask Tony if he can borrow his Walkman, which is basically iPods before iPods. But Tony and his dad are arguing in Spanish, so Clay just steals the Walkman. Like, bro, that's how Tony listens to his music to school. How are you going to replace that? So he rides his bike around town listening to Hannah and learns he needs a map and that there's rules. Okay, so here's another issue that I have. Hannah is treating this like it's a fucking game. Like, I can maybe see a depressed person talking about the stuff that, led to their suicide to make this a public thing. I can see that. But she's mapping out areas. She's making rules for how you listen to the tapes. I mean, who is she? Jigsaw? And this is just stupid. Like, I'm one of those people who follow that theory that Hannah's not actually dead. She's just doing this for publicity. But we'll get to that in due time. Don't worry. So Clay's riding his bike home to get the map that came with the cassette tapes. But he crashes and gets this massive, this thing is a massive cut on his forehead. This thing is huge. And he doesn't bother, cleaning it or anything. So when Clay gets home, his mom sees that he has this massive cut on his forehead. And she reasonably freaks out. And, well, Clay doesn't really care. So she just gives him a helmet and off he goes after he grabbed the map. Okay, now, look. I've had cuts on my head before. I've had them on my arm. I've had them all over the place, alright? I can tell you that as soon as he starts sweating, that's going to sting on his cut. Especially given how big it is. Not to mention, he's wearing a helmet. Right where the cut is. So, even if the sweat isn't going to hurt because, sweat has salt and salt in a cut is not a good thing. That helmet's going to hurt too. Combine the two, this kid's not going to be able to move. Alright, this kid needs to get this thing bandaged. But I'm just nitpicking here. Alright? So, whatever. So as he's riding his bike, he gets into another flashback, which is super dangerous, by the way, and I don't think I would ever do that, but I'm not Clay, so. Where he rode his bike to work, and Hannah likes his helmet, so she gives him the nickname Helmet. Clever. She then invited him to a party, and Clay's as oblivious about girls the same as I am, so. Wait a minute. Clay's riding his bike in the dark without a light. Clay knows nothing about girls like I do. We both like Star Wars. We both like riding our bikes. We're both super good looking and we have great hair. Holy shit! I am Clay Jensen! So as he's riding his bike, he's being followed by someone in a car. So he starts riding faster, and after he reaches this park, that's just the first spot on the map, they just leave him alone. Alright, Clay, look, buddy, you should probably either call the police or go to someone's house and call the police from there if you don't have a phone. Because someone is following you and it's nighttime. That's creepy as fuck. You should probably get the police involved on this. So we get another flashback to Hannah's first and only party, according to her. To have a fun going away party for her best friend named Kat, who's moving out. We don't actually learn how they met or became friends. They're just friends. So, I mean, I guess maybe the book explains it more. I mean, I don't know if the book's technically canon within the show's universe, but I mean, it's just a minor thing. Kat's barely even in the show anyway, so So Hannah meets her best friend's boyfriend, Justin, and she's like immediately falling in love with him. But she can't flirt with him because he's dating her best friend, and that would be weird. And her best friend's like, yeah, you can have Zach Dempsey, who's this other sports baller, Chad. I mean, I'm sensing a trend here. But then Kat says that Hannah can date Justin because she's leaving. Okay, how about we have Justin decides who he wants to date? How about we have the boys decide who they want to date? Oh, and he also takes his shirt off because he got wet while wrestling someone or something. So we see his awesome pecs and sick tats. Hold on. He's supposed to be a sophomore. So why does he have tattoos? Actually, I don't know the laws on that. So maybe I'm wrong, but as far as I know, I think you have to be 18 in order to get tattoos. And I know the actor is over 18. But he's supposed to be a sophomore in high school. He would not be able to get these. Again, I'm probably overthinking this, but whatever. So, after the party happened over the summer, Hannah starts flirting with Justin on the first day of school, and then they exchange phone numbers, and then they hang out at the park that Clay's at right now, all on the first day of school. And then they kiss. Again, on the first day of school. And they're playing on the playground, and they're sliding down the slide, swinging on the swings, kid stuff, while in high school. And then Justin takes a picture of her upskirt. Sort of. I mean, there's nothing explicitly shown. I mean, it's definitely not a picture I'd want going around, but I mean, it's not like that bad a picture, okay? I mean, nothing is really being shown. I mean, if someone were to send a picture of that specific position of me, yeah, I'd be upset, but I mean, it's not that bad a picture. I'd be upset, but I'd probably just laugh it off later. Anyway, Justin shows the picture to all his friends because that's what boys do, I guess. And his friends are like, whoa, bro, that's like super hot, man. Man, you're so lucky, bro. I wish I could hit that. I'm a boy athlete. All I think about is sex. So then they send the picture to everyone at the school by stealing his phone. Wait, what? Everyone in this school is on Justin's phone. How? The school is like 10 times the size of Grantsville. And I can tell you for a fact that there's not a single person at that school that has everyone's phone number, let alone knows everyone at the school. I don't even know half the kids in our grade. Okay? So you mean to tell me that Justin, who's a sophomore in high school, who also lives in a world where stereotypes exist, has every person in his contact list or follows every person at the school on social media, and he's just okay with that? I mean, this is a world where jocks and nerds are basically at war with each other, as we'll see later in the show. So you really mean to tell me that he would have some way of contacting the lower class, untouchable nerds? Ugh. I don't think so, okay? Am I overthinking this? No, this time I'm not overthinking this. Because suddenly, everyone at the school gets this picture of Hannah, and suddenly, everyone starts thinking she's a slut. They shun her. Even Clay shuns her because he's jealous that she was with Justin. I mean, who wrote this script? Like, I mean, this is not how it would happen, okay? Like, I know, alright? Rumors and gossip spread like wildfire in high school, but I mean, every person at the school is against her. And it's not like she's exaggerating this. We see it in the flashback that every person at the school is shunning her. This is stupid. This is not how normal people behave. Anyway, Clay snaps out of his flashback hallucination thing, and he sees Tony just staring at him, and he's like, "Oh shoot, I'm sorry I stole your Walkman." And Tony's like, "Nah, you good, G. Just listen to side B, homie." And then Clay's freaking out because Tony knows about the tapes. And then he asks him if he did something to help have Hannah commit suicide. And Tony's just like, "Listen to the tapes, homie. You'll find out." And that's the first episode of Season 1. Honestly, the first episode wasn't that bad. It's entertaining. It sets up the universe. It sets up the lore. It's fun. It works. And it's also the only good episode in the entire show. I mean, I know that I like other episodes in later seasons and this season itself more, but it's honestly the only good episode. All the other ones are just good because they're bad. And you'll see what I mean later. And I mean, like I said, each episode's an hour long, so they're basically mini movies. And even though I said that this is the only good episode, the other episodes in Season 1 are actually kind of addictive. And they do make it bingeable. And, I mean, I'll be honest, when I first watched the show back in middle school, I mean, I watched about half of Season 1 in one day. I mean, I can't fault Season 1 for being addictive. Alright, Season 1 is actually a pretty bingeable show. And outside of like some stupid elements, I mean, the episodes are good. This might be the best episode, and the other ones get stupid, but they're still good. If the show didn't try to be this PSA about high school and how teenagers react to stuff and whatnot, if they just made this like a drama, this wouldn't be that bad of a teen drama. But because they tried to be so serious, take this so seriously, and make this like, I don't even know what they were trying to do. Like, I mean, their tagline, I guess, is starting a conversation. Because that's what they say at the start of like every episode with their PSA stuff. I mean, I don't know. If they didn't try that, Season 1 would be that much more fun. Because, like I said, Season 1, it's not that bad. And I'll elaborate more on that on Episode 2, 3, and 4, and all the way through. Anyway, I'll upload Episode 2 later, whenever I record it. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.